Hello, welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB, and we are into our next week with the Chronicles of our young CGB account here, completely free to play, trying to have the best free to play experience available in arena. Now, what we said that we are going to do is we're going to check out the guilds. We're going to try to pick a guild to try to make an upgradable deck with. And I've decided to let the quests be my guide. The quests are going to tell me which way to go. It is Monday. That means we have a weekend worth of quests. So it's a big payday here in the arena. Which one of these things is not like the other? If we need to re-roll a quest to try to get another 750, it's got to be the cast 20 white or blue spells. Because we've got a pair of red whites, which means it's very likely we're headed to Boros Town today. And we get 20 white or black spells. Regardless, plenty of white spells will get the job done. All right. We still have, I know, this is the every episode check-in that we still have the 30 packs hanging out, just sitting there. All right. Let's build our own Boros from scratch. Nope, not there. Over here. Boros. What's it called? The Boros Guild. Boros is, for those who don't know, it's the color pair that is red and white. So, obviously it will be hard to make a full-on, like, super top-tier competitive list without using some of our wild cards. We've got a couple hanging out. We're trying to decide what we want to use them on. So we're going to see how far we can go with some of these decks. Now, I'm going to start out by grabbing a few cards that I think might make the cut, but I really am not sure where this all is going to go, so bear with me. Bear with me, my friends. I'm not going to talk about every single card either. I'm just going to grab a card here, a card there that I think will do, and then we'll get into it. We'll learn as we go. So that's oh, that has Mentor. Basically, things with Mentor are probably the primary targets, but they have to also have an ability. They can't be Mentor alone. They have to do a few things. It's also a pretty good card to Mentor onto, probably, but I'm not sure. History of Benalia is just a good card. Not necessarily a great Mentor card, just a great card. Militia Bugler is an excellent piece of the puzzle. Resplendent Angel can probably make the cut. We have an Ajani that we opened pretty early on. Then there's these Warleaders, which are just solid attackers. A Shalai that I think we opened that. Or did we get that in a deck? It's very hard for me to remember what all comes from the decks. If we had more Knights, I might be excited about Valiant Knight, but not yet. And I don't like Settle the Wreckage in an aggro deck, but we may come back to it. The card pool is limited. It is a rare. It is a decent card. Over here, there's a Banneret that mentors. Shock is a nice burn spell that is hard to not use. It is so solid. Same with Lightning Strike. Lava Coil might make the cut, but I'm going to leave it on the side. I don't think we need as much removal as I'm already grabbing. And maybe what we want is just a red-white aggro deck. Maybe the Mentor theme is asking a bit much from our limited collection. This Bodyguard is supposedly pretty solid. I don't love it for constructed, though. You have to have another creature, but it's worth trying out in the early days. Phoenix, all the Monstrosaurs are probably very nice. If we're going to play a 5-drop, it's probably a Monstrosaur or a Dragon, something in that realm. Although Siege Gang Commander is interesting, you can get it with the Bugler, so maybe we need to build around Militia Bugler. Bugler. A couple Banefires to finish off unexpected opponents. There's some challengers. There's a little bit of Mentor. We got a Response. We got a Vindicator. So we got a few cards. But a 5-2 with no other text for Mentor isn't what I'm looking for. Heroic Reinforcements. That's pretty spicy. Truefire Captain hasn't done much for me yet, but maybe we want it here. Anyway, I hope that you enjoy the deck building process. I do apologize in advance to those who might find it tedious or not enjoyable. But for some people might get something out of it. I've heard feedback that they like the deck building process. And don't forget, please never forget, you can fast forward. You are on the YouTubes. You can swipe to the right. You can grab the little thingy and drag it to the right. It'll be okay. My ego does it. My ego can take it. So we need to run all these tap lands to make sure we have enough of our mana sources, because and since they enter the battlefield tapped, it makes our 1-drops pretty weak. So it's time to start cutting things out. And the main thing I want is a little bit of utility. Maybe some help, like this, giving out the +2/+0 and first strike is pretty good with the mentor. It's not great, it's good. And really, honestly, most of our powerful cards here don't rely on mentor, so I'm not sure I'm even sticking with it, to be totally real with all of you. The mentor ability, it's a nice train that gets rolling, but we're missing too many rares for it. How many creatures are we actually running? 30? Yeah, we got a good number of creatures. I'll have to cut a couple of spells too. I'm trying to decide if the Bugler still fits when we have... I can cut you. When we have Warleaders and... Yeah, we got a lot of things that Bugler cannot hit, which is too bad. I almost want to go back and try to build something a little more Bugler-centric, because that value is actually really solid and better than a lot of things we have going on. But that would require cutting the Warleaders and the Phoenix and a bunch of other things that I don't really want to cut. Maybe we're just supposed to play it with less hits. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's always important to look and see exactly how many you have. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. You don't count the Bugler. It's one of the Buglers, but you can count a few of the others. Yeah. I mean, there's a version of this deck where you can bugle very, very well, but this is not quite it. So, yeah. Unfortunately, I think they've got to go, although we do need a 3-drop. We just don't have many. We could play some Fight with Fire and kill the opponent's things. That's interesting. We have a Sarkhan Planeswalker, and we have 1 dragon. Not exactly the height of synergy. We could run more Spit Flames, but I think we're already running too much removal. Like so too much. Kinjali Sunwing's interesting. It can slow down haste creatures. Maybe that's okay. And I guess we can't expect to have a great, amazing, mind-blowing curve. Also, Mentor the Meek doesn't work. Well, I guess it works with Warleader. It sort of works with Rekindling Phoenix. Maybe there's enough there for the Mentor. Can cut those out now. As much as I love Banefire, I think, well, having it around to blow out those control decks does feel really nice. I think Demotion can hit the bench. Looking at my creature curve, we still have a lot of 2-drop creatures. We have a lot of burn spells, though. We're sort of a secret nasty burn deck. So we could lean into that a little bit harder. And that can be our 2-drop instead of some of these. Well, Drill Master's interesting. It does force through some damage. But it's not good on turn 2 because we only have a single 1-drop. Yep, you can go now. How are we doing? 21 creatures. The number's dropping quickly. So what 4-drops are really good? All of these are pretty good. Maybe the reinforcements aren't the best. And they're all rather solid. I'm gonna cut you. I think we will cut you. That's 19 creatures, but you have to remember we also have the reinforcements. Well, the reinforcements isn't great without other creatures either. And Response Resurgence is kind of a removal spell. Maybe we just have too many removals. Yeah, I'm going to get the Banneret back in here. I don't want to go below 20 actual critters. We could also play a fun token deck with Goblin Instigator. Yeah, I feel like we have better synergy for that. Which makes me really want to rethink a lot of the things going on. If we pulled out the mentor creatures and we put in the instigators, we've got a much more go wide type thing cooking, which I don't hate. It's just they're so weak. They're very, very small creatures. Well, let's see. Nothing that isn't worth exploring here, my friends. So we get all that in there. We bring up our shock count again. Now we're getting really, really into red. We have 19 creatures. But we also have heroic reinforcements and History of Benalia. We got some Banefire to finish it. We have 24 land. We should probably have 25, to be honest. Because at this point, we need to be playing our 5-drops like Charging Monstrosaur and Demanding Dragon, and we have Banefire. Maybe more shocks is not the answer. Anyway, this is a meddling little Boros pile, but we're gonna try it out, and I'm excited to see what the heck happens. We're just gonna play through the play section, just get a few games, see how it feels. We could also try forcing Mentor after this. There's nothing wrong with trying a few different builds of your deck. In fact, you should. You gotta be willing to play around with different cards and see what really is working for you, especially with a small card pool. Don't try to lock in like this is the deck. Only play the deck. Do not vary from the deck. Don't be that player. Explore. Have fun. Bang bang pyro. Looks like this player got the memo. We'll play an instigator. See where our opponent takes it from here. If we draw another plains, our hand is pretty amazing. Oh. Our opponent has the red deck with all the rares. That's rude. I don't know how we're gonna compete with that, but we drew some removal spells, so that's not nothing. Uh-huh. I'm glad you played that first, or I might have shocked your Pyromancer. Okay. Shock the Steamkin. Strike the Chain Whirler. And then hopefully untap, draw plains. We added a 25th land. We need it! Okay, not quite right, but at least we get to start getting our creatures going. Not the best heroic reinforcement of all time. We want to attack while we have the bonus. We can always D up and try to block the Pyromancer next turn. Well, Steamkin's not as good once your spells have been played. And since our opponent's not playing anything else, I think their last spell could be a land. I'm going to use the shock right now, though, just in case. And we'll pass turn and D up since we're on 11 health. Getting a white for the Warleader would make a huge difference, as those lifelink tokens are very good. Our own Pyro. I think I'll take my time on playing this reinforcements. We don't want to get absolutely wrecked by another Chain Whirler. Although, not a lot of ways to play around that until we get another white source. And I'll keep passing turn. Our opponent is flooding out a bit after a really hot start. And we are remaining a plane short of heaven. Alright, so we buff our dorks. I think we'll go after them. We gotta dial up the pressure. And this might draw... Yep, finally the shock comes out in a panic. And they're going face. Or no, the field is going face. Ooh, and chump blocking. Alright. Well, that's good. Now we can attack at will. I was mainly concerned about the 2 damage I'd take on a crackback, but now that that creature's gone, I'm less worried. Shock off the top. Face this time. Interesting. Boros Guildgate will enter tapped. It's a price you have to pay. Down to 9. We've turned the race the other direction. Our opponent draws a haste creature. Ouch. Banefire. Let's drop the Warleader because it makes lifelink creatures. And I'm going to leave back 1 Pyromancer to try to trade with the Lava Runner. If the opponent draws a removal spell for the Warleader, which is their ideal scenario, I don't think we're missing out on too much by not attacking with the Pyromancer for 1 turn. Risk factor. Good card. Down to 4. So we have to let the opponent draw all those cards. It's basically a perfect top deck when they have that much mana. Strike, and I'm dead. And good try, but we played against a very real red deck with rares. With plenty of rares. So that's, I mean, Electrostatic Field is the only thing in there that isn't top tier red, so you can't feel too bad about losing that game. I'm not sure how much it would cost, maybe like 60 to 100 bucks to get all the rare wild cards you need to straight up craft it, but we're definitely not playing similar style. Banneret, Instigator, Banefire. Okay. And we'll wait for our opponent to figure out what to do. We'll just rub the head of the Griffin over here a little bit. And I think we'll get the Banneret down right away. Wow. I don't know. We might have a newish player. Definitely not the Speedy. Or maybe they're just distracted. They're on the Discords. Maybe they're on the CGB Discord, talking to people about playing Young CGB. Who knows? Link in description if you're interested in joining our free Discord. Cast down. All right, takes out the Banneret. We'll get our tap land. That's a lot of land. Hard to accomplish a spell quest with that many lands coming off the top. Well, our opponent's in the tank. It's usually is about a 10 to 15 second no action window where I'm thinking, am I supposed to send an emote? When's the proper time to emote? Yeah. That seems like the play all day. I'm kind of... And they kept on the top, so they've got another good card coming. This game, not looking good. Not good. Not only that, we have to sit through this player drowning us in their time. So once I run out of spells to play, I'm going to leave and find a new player. So as soon as I've cast everything I need to cast, I'm not going to play this person any longer. It's just too long. They take too long. Alright, no more spells to play. So far, rough start. Rough start for this build. We'll give it one more. But then I might try the straight up mentor approach. We got tools. Alrighty. Let's get our gobos. Go to work, boys. Go instigate some things. Go poke fun at someone. Our opponent has a shiny land. And our opponent not willing to spend a shock or a lightning strike there if they have one. But let's see what they have for their turn 3. Still nothing. And now we're missing our lands, because that's magic. Flood on lands, draw no lands. It's a fabulous game. You'll love it. Opponents had enough. They can't possibly go another turn without playing something. They can't bear to. Which, you know, depending on their hand and how many of these effects they have, it's never good to use one of these on one half of a Goblin Instigator, but that is why we play cards like the Instigator. It's a good draw. I don't want to move in on reinforcements here, but I will put out a Warleader and hope my opponent is sitting there with a whole bunch of cards like Lightning Strike in their hand. And reading the Warleader and deciding how to... Yeah, that's definitely the play. Glad we found it. Glad we got there. Alright. Send in the Instigator. I want to save the reinforcements till I have more creatures on the battlefield, preferably. Demanding Dragon enters the battlefield, does 5 damage to the opponent. We'll see if they have another way to kill that. But we're closing in. Right now we have 7 points of burn in the hand. We have 4 points of hasty power at least. Here comes an angel. That has to die. The ability on it to activate it and gain all that life is brutal. Okay. Our opponent's also apparently on this medium, like mid-ranging red-white kick. I'm going to save this. Our opponent might have a Lyra, so we need to be able to deal 5 damage to a Lyra. We can play this Lightning Strike. And yeah, I think that's the ticket. Because otherwise, our opponent will untap, activate this attack, and kill us. We could hit the opponent down to 4, but then they're going to go back up to 9. We wouldn't necessarily be dead, but they gain a 4/4 angel. So we'll just pass turn. What we'd love is to use this in response to our opponent's activation of Resplendent Angel. I don't think they'll be that bold. Alright, they have a Shalai. Well, in response, we will kill your angel before it gains hexproof with Shalai. So our opponent's playing the full-on Boros Angel deck. Well, maybe full-on. This is a rare, but you can get it. This is an uncommon. Some different removal spells. Let's see here. Yeah, it seems like it should be Fight with Fire taking out Shalai, and then get in for another point and keep wearing the opponent lower and lower. I don't think we're going to kick Fight with Fire this game. I don't see it going that long. So removing the Angel from the path is probably a good play. Okay, our opponent has a Banneret, so they also have a little 1/1 dork. But they have a lot more mana pump it than we do. I think it's time to get heroic. Our opponent can pump and trade with one of them. It's possible we should have played Shalai first in case there is a Settle the Wreckage, but if Settle the Wreckage comes down here, I think that makes our Fight with Fire and Banefire lethal. So we're not even going to be too sad about that. Now they pick out something to block right before Banefire takes their head off. All right, go away. A Drill Master. All right, they got a pretty medium deck. They just slam some angels into it. We have a similar package. So yeah, this is an even-ish matchup. They have Conclave Tribunals. I don't know if I have any Conclave Tribunals. Taking out the token. Well. Bang! Aimbot! Alright, well, that's the good news. It squashed an even-ish matchup. Maybe we'll play a few more with this after all. One thing I want to do is even the mana. I don't want to be ever short 2 white when I need it again. That was pretty hard. I do also think it might be Bugler. We talked about the math on it, but I think I just have to take the chance in this build of the deck. I think I just got to take chances. Because if we do hit the value, it's very good. And the heroic reinforcements are... yeah. But I think it's still better than a lot of our other things. So I'm going to cut out the Shocks and the Banneret and play Bugler instead. Just to have a few better bodies out there going. But we'll see how that works out. A 3-mana 2/3 Vigilance on its own is very meh. It's meh. This is what I get. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm really hoping that these pull it off, and on the draw, that might be too ambitious, but we'll see. We'll see. I don't mind taking risks with a new deck, a deck I'm still figuring out. Then, once you get more competitive, and once your understanding of decks gets more competitive, you can make adjustments and figure out which hands you need to mulligan and which hands you need to keep. Don't expect to know that the day that you wake up after building a deck. It's something that comes with time. So, I'm going to kill this. I'm just not going to goof around. And I want to save the response Resurgence because it goes higher on the damage chart with 5, and it has this second mode that could be really awesome if things break the right way. Well then, hello. Somebody else with a strong appreciation for bugling. All right, let's see if we can do it too. I would also like to bugle. We got something! We also put 3 other good spells on the bottom of our deck and took the worst one and put it into our hand for the maximum feels bads. Oh well. Oh well, that's magic. Shall we stare at each other? I like to bugle. But I like to bugle. We can bugle together. If we bugle together, it will wake up the whole town even more than it already has. Isn't the point to wake up the whole town? Absolutely. We don't want to wake them up more than enough, though. Some people have delicate ears, and they complain. They post in the Facebook comments and the YouTubes. They give me bad reviews on Yelp. That will not stop my bugling. Anyway. Let's play this out, say go. Our opponent has Pridemate Healer's Hawk combo to live their best life. But they'll only get away with it for one turn before we drop a Demanding Dragon upon them. That's a good card. Tis a rare. Tis a powerful rare. Dauntless Bodyguard. Targeting the Marshal? Nope. Pridemate? If you highlight it, it's supposed to point to what it targets. Oh, yes, the Marshal. Okay. You have to highlight it, then scroll away from it, and it's still awkward, but it works. The functionality is there. Our opponent's deciding how to use this grand battlefield they have created. Right. We got some tough decisions to make. Response Resurgence could be pretty excellent, but I just don't know if we're ever going to get through this ground, which means we may need to rely on this dragon. If we're going to rely on the dragon, do we want to kill the flyer? And what are these tokens ever going to do for us? And if they're not going to do much, we may as well take something out. But it feels like Response Resurgence could also take out a Pridemate. Still, I know my plays for the next 2 turns are these 5-drops. Eventually, though, like say the opponent takes 5 from the Demanding Dragon, they're on a 1-turn clock. Or not if I have the Resurgence, like a 2-turn clock, because I attack once, then I play Resurgence, and I attack. But this thing gaining life messes that up. So there's a lot of moving parts, and I do think I'm just going to fire this off right away. So we'll have a token, they'll have 3 pretty good creatures, but then we'll play Demanding Dragon and we'll see what they can do. Alright, they chose to take out my Bugler. We still have 2 tokens. Paka! How you doing? Hope you knights came prepared to fight a dragon. We'll see if our opponent has a removal spell up their sleeve. We haven't played anything removal worthy yet. It wouldn't shock me if they had a way to kill it. But burning that timer might mean they're in trouble. Because you don't want to take 5. Alright, that means they can probably kill it, but we'll see. We'll see. There be dragon! And there be removal. Now we'll see how long it takes my opponent to attack with all their things. Well, maybe not with the bodyguard if they're feeling, I don't know, skittish. Yeah, they're still being really careful. I'm not making any blocks here. Our life total's pretty high. It's a land. There you go. Alright, we'll play the Monstrosaur. Now, I think I need to attack with it. I think if I'm sitting back... I mean, I'm not necessarily losing a race, but it may really influence my opponent to sit back. And this way, if there's another Pyromancer's Cage, I at least get something out of my Monstrosaur. Because we are a deck that can burn them out if we buy enough time. Fight with fire. Banefire lurking in the build. Just waiting. Heroic reinforcements can take advantage of our board. More Monstrosaurs. We do run the full 4. Yep, another white dork. And another white dork. Do you attack me? Mm-hmm. I think it's time for the no blocks again. We're going to go to 8, but I don't think we have an attack here with the Monstrosaur now that our opponent's board is much better than ours. So we're just buying time now, hoping for some big removal spell and hoping the opponent's too scared to attack the Monstrosaur. It's a pretty interesting stalemate because we can go block, block, eat something, sack. Then they're down to 4, but we have 1. Then we need to draw something to survive. It is a 2-turn lethal. But we can let the bodyguard go through and then they have to sack it if they want to keep their marshal. It's pretty interesting. Not sure what's going to happen. And our opponent is too afraid to attack. Well, that's what we want to see. We'll pyro them to 8, make them sweat. More dorks. Let's see what your bugler can do for you today. Maybe must be a tough choice. Unfortunately, it doesn't mean they're going to miss. It means that they have a choice to make, and it must be excruciating. A healer's hawk. He's so brutal. Ooh, that's a good one too. Gaining that life, growing those Pridemates. I don't know how that could be tough, but maybe it was exactly that in healer's hawk. Maybe. Well, this is it right here. This is where drawing a Fight with Fire or a Banefire, it makes us, well, no, Fight with Fire specifically makes us master of our destiny. Whereas pretty much anything else is sadness. All right, we drew a strike. I think we gotta strike down this Vanguard. We can pass the turn and wait until right before combat. I think the Vanguard is what's killing us right now. Oh my goodness. Must be nice. I still think the Vanguard has to go. And this gives us another turn to draw, like, Fight with Fire, I guess. But the opponent has these 5/5 Pridemates, our Monstrosaurs, all that's keeping it together. I think I'll block with the Instigators. The idea here is if I draw another Instigator or Heroic Reinforcements, that can buy me the same amount of time if these are the attacks my opponent's willing to make. They're still not willing to risk anything against the 5/5. All right. And now we're kind of in the same place. Attacking in won't do us any good, unfortunately, but maybe if the opponent's only willing to do the exact same attack again, we buy another turn for Fight with Fire. It's fun having top decks. It's a lot better to actually draw them. Yeah, we are just dead. We are just dead on board, of course, if the opponent remembers to attack with everything. And it looks like they figured it out. Alright, we're gonna go try the Mentor deck. I've found this deck to be really a style of Magic I don't like, which is kill something. I mean, it's like mid-range, but it's like mid-range without Planeswalkers, which is kind of rough to play. Still, got some questing done. Let's go a little bit all in on the Mentor theme and see where that leads. So we got you. Is Blade Instructor good? Probably not. Mentor of the Meek says Mentor on it, which is kind of a flavor win. And yeah, that's all we got for the Mentor theme. Man, I think that's really bad. So we opened all that Guilds of Ravnica. I'm kind of surprised that we can't make a Mentor deck. So instead what I want to try is like a very aggressive white deck with a little bit of red burn. Because it just makes me want to do like the Pridemate thing with a whole bunch of creatures and Bugler. But we don't have the Benelish Marshals. But we can have an Angel. Do we want War Leaders? They're pretty good. Those in Heroic Reinforcements might just pull us through some tough games. And then on the red side, we just want some cheap burn spells to get the job done. We're at 50 cards. Do we still want like Pyromancer Goblins? Maybe. You can't get them with Bugler. That's good. And then we get to our Boros stuffs, the Mentor stuff that we're not really playing, the reinforcements, and that's about it. So we're one card off. Wow, that really built itself. That was automatic, basically. How's our creature count? 22, it's okay. Probably not enough hits off the Bugler to still be statistically powerful, but worth giving a shot. Do we have enough triggers for a Gutter Snipe? Absolutely not. What madness am I talking about? So I'll throw in a Crater Maker. It's kind of this utility dork that you can get off a Bugler. And into land, I guess I'll grab some Memorials. We're going a bit wide. I'll grab all the Guild Gates. Do we want all the Stone Quarries too? We have to actually play some of our spells on time. We only have red one-ofs, so I just need to have just enough red. So this is, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's cutting it a little close. I think 13 is where you need to be to usually have one on time. So we'll do something like that. So this is more aggro-y. Aggro, red-white. Who's supposed to run this camp? I guess the reinforcements will run the yard. We do have a lot of tap lands. I don't think it can be helped. I think playing lots of tap lands is just the way we gotta do it. If you are a player out there, whether you're free to play or almost free to play or have a full collection, take the CGB deck building challenge. Build a deck every day. Every day. try to make the time to log in and actually put together a deck. And it can be just like the deck you built before with some slight variations. Just change it. The amount of anxiety that I witness people having about changing their deck it's frustrating me. It's like, I feel like I have to have a personal crusade about this. So if I don't draw lands, this hand is terrible. But if I do, I've got like my 2 best mythics in my deck. That's why I'm going to keep it. It might lose horribly. But like I just said, we got like, this is the curve. We need to play history into Ajani, and then I think we beat anybody. So, but yeah, God, the amount of people who have to message me and it just, when I talk to them about, well, try this, and they're like, why isn't this in your deck? And I'm like, well, because I was trying this out today. And they're like, how come your deck isn't the same as last week? I'm like, because I'm trying new cards. And it's just, what's underneath the surface is, there has to be a perfect deck. There isn't. No such thing. Build a different deck. Try to do it like, you don't have to do it from scratch, but you should. Just build it from scratch every day. And if it comes out close to the same as the one yesterday, then it means you still like your choices. But just unlock that creativity. Like, push it. Magic is good for this. What the hell is going on now? What is with players today? Come on now. I don't think they know that I'm waiting over here. Throwing emotes. I'm throwing emotes. I'm starting to rant. I'm starting to emote. Just twiddling their thumbs over there. Hey. Let's see if they brought a counter spell to just totally disrupt our fun. Not this time. Now they're gonna kill it. But the good news about history is at least it brings out another. Just burning their timer on whether or not to kill this knight. Nah. Let's attack them. Let's see if they've decided to use removal now. There it is. Uh-huh. Yep. So you're gonna kill both my knights. Yep. And I will make some more creatures. And hopefully draw the land for the reinforcements. So the Benalia traded for 2 cards, which is what you can hope for. I wish it had traded for more of their mana. They only had to spend 3 mana to kill them. Oh, it also got some damage in. So, can't be upset. There, take that and this. We could not play the Pyromancer to play around counter magic, but I don't know enough about what my opponent thinks they're cooking up here to do that. So we're just gonna keep bashing them in. They didn't show me anything like a counterspell before, but they didn't have double blue before. But if we get to heroic reinforce them, I think they die. And yeah, I think we have. Don't be cowards. Let's go for it. Let's see what happens. Unfortunate, but the way it had to be. Surveil. And finally decides top is perfect. It's probably a sweeper if that's what they kept. Probably a fiery cannonade or a white mana with a deafening clarion. No. None of these things. Let's see what happens. Players today. Oh my gosh. Come on, you know if you're going to do something. Can't decide. Brain aneurysm. All right, you're at 3. I will play this Instigator. Would you like to counter it? I will play this Lightning Strike. Does it kill you? All right. Woo! Got there. It's a little scary. What did our opponent keep on top of their deck with that Surveil? Did they really keep that Blink of an Eye? Doesn't seem like a good card to keep in that spot. I probably wouldn't keep that card. So I'm just wondering what's in their hand, I guess, that they decided they should keep in a situation where they're getting run over by little tokens. A Fiery Cannonade would have killed all my tokens, or a Shake the Foundations. I would have kept something like that. Otherwise, I would bin anything that wasn't something like that to at least give me a chance to draw it. I think that's the important... Maybe that's something people miss on Surveil, if they're new players, is don't keep cards that aren't going to win you the game. You only want to keep the cards that are really going to help you in the situation you find yourself in right now. Yeah, here comes the Explorer train. But I have a flyer. I'm a master of falconry. We'll play our Crater Maker. And there's a Squire. Explorer shenanigans at their finest these days. I'd trade for that anytime. Our opponent might play with cards like Karn. But I need bodies to grow with my Ajani, so I don't want to trade away my Crater Maker at this time. We'll play our tap land, I think. Yeah, I don't know if or how I would shock and strike. But maybe I'm supposed to leave myself the option. We could strike away the Seeker Squire and get extra damage in with our Crater Maker, but I don't think that that's a good use of it. I think we have to save it for something more scary. That could be defined as scary. Again, I don't want to block. I'm trying to decide if I need to kill anything, and I think I can wait. And though if I shock over here, then I get an extra point through with my Crater Maker. But we need to defend Ajani, so.
I am proud to fight by yours. Be strong.
I guess I don't want Ajani to straight die. So we can, like, block trade with something here, then get it back. It's pretty good. But we'll see. Oh, trophy.
Are you finished?
Well, that's sad. That is sad. There goes our whole game plan. No blockers, but we will shock one of these and start trying to tilt this race back around since we have the lifelinker with the +1/+1 counter on it. And our opponent is missing land drops, so they kept Vraska without a way to play it. Oops. Not what I meant. Meant you. I also don't recommend keeping your Planeswalker, even your sexy mythic Planeswalker, without a way to play it. Gain a little life. Exiling the Ajani. Like, what am I gonna do to get that back? When you could be gaining life. Okay. Okay. We got an absolute mad opponent here. Just mad. They've gone absolutely bonkers. No blockers. I mean, they still are trying to race me as well, which is interesting. The lifelink from the Hawk makes that a hard thing to do. Yay! We did Bugler look at the bottom cards of your library mode. Sadness. We're going to shoot that out of the way now. We're going to move to combat, and we're going to beat our opponent into the ground. Play out the land. They might have a way to make us discard it. And we'll see if they find their land. They do! Now they can play Vraska, but I'm not sure what they'll do with it. They'll play Chupacabra instead. What's the target? Doesn't like the Hawk. Okay. And now we're not attacking. Okay. Well, we're really waiting on heroic reinforcements here. We're gonna need it. This is the only real attacker, it just trades off. But if the opponent has less material... If the opponent has less material, it makes their Vraska weaker. So let's at least try to push them on the material side. Yeah, pretty happy with this. So they can play Vraska here. If they sacrifice something, they go to 2. We have Shock and Lightning Strike in our deck.
See the end coming until it's too late.
If they minus... Yeah, they're going up. Interesting.
As long as we win, nothing else matters.
And they're sacrificing a land. They don't have much respect for their own deck. Alright. Let's make our dorks. It's a lot of critters. But that's not a burn spell. All right. Let's see what we can do. Get him to 3. They sacrifice a permanent. They go to 4. Then we untap, attack again. See how many creatures they can play here. One creature. Deathgord Scavenger, right? Yep. All right. The big draw step's right here. Oh.
I haven't forgotten how to destroy things.
Man. All right. Not lucky today. No big, awesome, exploding endings for this video.
I'll carve it out of existence.
First appearance by that card. Do they have a way to kill it? They always have a way to kill it.
Your corpse will make a nice souvenir.
All right, still drawing to a shock or a lightning strike or a heroic reinforcements. Nope, never mind. Now the opponent's attacking me. And they didn't gain life. I think they just died. If I block like this, they're dead. That is an oops if I've ever seen one. And then we draw the shock. What a fitting conclusion for this gameplay video. So, Boros, we tried it. It's in the books. I would say the amount of rares that I need to make this into a deck I enjoy playing is way too high. I give this deck, let's see, I'll give it a C, maybe a C plus grading scale, with A being the best, and I'll give this deck a D. D minus. So that's, I don't really think that either of these are going to be the deck for me, but it's always good to explore. I hope you enjoyed the video and some absolutely ridiculous Boros gameplay here today. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Ah, why'd I come back?